As you know, the Clique is a group of friends created by Kevin Nash, Scott Hall, HBK, Triple H, and Sim Waltman. First of all, let's start with the backstage cases of these fives. Uh, First of all, according to Mick Foley, Triple H put a ring in the back and WWE didn't notice. HBK used to make fun of wrestlers in the backstage, and that makes him too antipathetic. The clique seems sympathetic at first, but after a while, they don't speak to anyone except their own members. And last thing, according to Jose Lothario, HBK was holding too well with the bosses. So when an incident happened, he first stripped himself. You know that Shawn Michaels had a great ego before 2000. He wanted to do everything he said, and he didn't take other wrestlers seriously, so he made HBK extremely antipathetic. Vince McMahon began to do everything he could to avoid losing HBK, and this was unfair to other wrestlers. And Bret Hart was most opposite to this, and that's why HBK had a deep passion and hostility towards Bret Hart. In fact, what he did as a result of this ambition was one of the things that changed him the most. In 1997, after the evil plan of HBK, Vince McMahon, and Triple H, Bret was sacked and sent from WWF. In an interview with HBK, he said that he thought he was getting rid of a big burden at that time and that he thought the whole federation was left to him when Bret Hart switched to WCW. But it was kind of like that. HBK was confused when he would lose and he would win. HBK was the WWF champion when the date was shown in January 1998, and it was decided by the script team to keep this title until 1999, but he suffered a major injury after a blow to the casket match with Undertaker, and everything started this date. Shawn Michaels couldn't wrestle after the blow, and he was immediately traded. Vince McMahon advised him to lose the title to Stone Cold Steve Austin at WrestleMania and then leave the WWF until he recovered. Shawn Michaels unwillingly accepted it. After losing the title at WrestleMania, he terminated his contract and left the WWF. HBK believed that the WWF wouldn't be able to walk without him, and he was no longer wrestling. His injury wasn't a minor thing, and he ended his career. After a while, thanks to a friend, he became interested in religion, and it wasn't as simple that he read, so he became a true Christian. HBK wanted to meet Bret Hart in October 1998, but Bret Hart hated him to death and didn't want to see him normally. In 2003, X-Pac said that during those years, Shawn's psychology had deteriorated and even the rise in ratings in the WWF began to make him go. Eventually, HBK returned to WWF, but as a commissioner in 2000. When Michaels was injured again during a super kick he tried, he had to give up wrestling completely. By 2000, HBK had fallen short of financial difficulty because when he was the most important wrestler of the WWF, there was a major economic crisis and the wrestlers were getting low salaries, so he founded the Shawn Michaels Wrestling Academy. At first things were going great and he was training young wrestlers, but after a while the needs of the young wrestlers, the ring expenses of the academy and so on. So after about a month he tried to sell his two cars and put them into the academy, but when he failed again, so he closed the academy and started looking for a job. HBK, once one of the most important wrestlers in the wrestling world, was watching television shows only now. He was in financial trouble even though he offered to join WWE staff in 2001, but WWE had lost money on the market because he bought WCW at the time, and they told HBK he could come in 2002. Anyway, HBK offered to meet with Bret Hart again 15 times in 2001, and it was rejected each time. After a while, he joined the San Antonio local news as a sports reporter, and so here he began to gather himself a little, and his financial shortage had been solved, and he gathered himself in wrestling for free from the reporter. But more importantly, he started to stop by the back of the WWE. Many wrestlers there were astonished because they had a gentle and humble Shawn Michaels who had never seen them before, and after a while the whole squad gained respect for him. He gathered himself for professional wrestling, and in 2002 the expected moment came. Shawn Michaels was returning. Thank you for listening me, guys. I love you so much.